Hi, I'm Amy Nguyen, Director of Alliance Partnerships here at Veritone. Welcome to our AI Demo Showcase, where we will be featuring 3 purpose-built applications powered by AI to cognitively enable existing workflows within public safety and justice organizations. We want to thank our partners and customers for leaning into innovative technology to make repetitive tasks automated, with our solutions allowing for more time spent serving our communities and solving greater issues. The Veritone platform was built to support a broad set of use cases with an infinite number of industries. We invite you to learn more about our solutions at veritone.com. We look forward to connecting with you. Now, please enjoy this demonstration of our Identify, Redact, and Illuminate applications. Ben, take it away.
Hi, my name is Ben Ha, Senior Sales Engineer at Veritone, and today we're going to be taking a look at Veritone aiWARE. aiWARE is an artificial intelligence operating system, allowing us to take data from virtually any source, whether it be structured or unstructured, to cognitively enable those sources and to be able to make use of that data through a variety of purpose-built applications. We're going to be covering 3 of those applications today, purpose-built for our government, legal, and compliance group, and we're going to take a look. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first application we're going to take a look at is called Veritone Identify. Identify allows you to take photographic or video evidence and compare it to an existing known offender database to identify who that suspect might be from a list of potential offenders. Starting off, a user can create cases on the left-hand side, which is really a simple way of labeling data that's related to a particular case and upload evidence into that case. Depending on whether you're working with photos or videos, you have a different process you can take. For example, with images, we have the ability to process the image as is, as well as edit the image. So in some cases, you may want to crop the image down. You may want to adjust the size of it by zooming in and out. You may want to rotate the image, as well as adjust brightness. And so we've included these various image adjustment tools to make it really simple to pre-process the image prior to running it through Identify. We also have the ability to work with videos, and so you can either process the video directly, going frame by frame, detecting every face from the video and comparing those faces against the known offender database, or we can trim and process the video. Oftentimes, especially with CCTV type of footage, you only care about 5 or 10 seconds worth of video where that suspect's face is clearly visible to the camera. We also have the ability to do manual face identification, so I can jump to a key moment of the video, pause it, and draw a box around the face that I wish to identify. Regardless of which approach you use, the end goal is you have one or more faces that you wish to identify. And from here, you can choose one or more known offender databases that you can leverage to compare against. As an agency, you'll have access to your own local booking photos, but you also have the ability to leverage additional neighboring agencies or perhaps county and state level databases as part of the data sharing program. So any agency participating in Veritone Identify has the ability to share the database with you and vice versa. And so it allows you to cast a wider net when you're comparing your matches because, as we know, bad guys don't stay in the same place. Once you look at the matches, they'll show up in the process list, and we have the ability to look at the list of matches on the left-hand side. So every detected face is shown there, and for each face that is shown on the right-hand side, we have the ability to look at the different matches. And so as the investigator, I'm going to be making that final decision. The facial recognition engine will show me the top matches, but as the investigator, it's my responsibility to compare those to the evidence and then make an informed decision. To assist with that culling down process, what we can do is filter the content based off of demographic data. And so, for example, I can say I'm looking for a male suspect, uncheck female. I'm looking for someone who's 50 years or younger. And so dynamically, as I adjust this criteria, you'll see the list on the right side get culled down further based off of that information. And so that's the same information that gets pulled along with the booking photos from the agency. When I see someone that looks like they might be a good match, what I can do is go into the details and get a side-by-side comparison of that image from the evidence compared to the image from the booking photos. And I can also see a snapshot of that demographic data and also related images below that. So it might be side profile shots, tattoo shots, whatever photos were available from the agency when that data was brought in. And so when I see someone that looks like they might be a good match, I can click Add a Suspect. That will update that on screen. and then I can go ahead and move on with my investigation process. Every suspect that is marked in that previous screen is now going to show up in the Suspects tab, and I have the ability now to share this information out with another investigator who might be collaborating with me. So I can type in their email address and a custom message, and they would get an email notification with a link that they can use to log in to identify and then see the same information that I'm seeing. So it really helps from a collaboration perspective on a given investigation. We also have the ability to add notes to the case. And so you can either create user-defined notes, or as key events occur, such as a suspect being identified or confirmed, those will also get added to this case history. And so it serves as an audit trail as well of the events that are going on. Now we've covered the happy path scenario of identify, where we're able to make a match. Let's take a look at what happens when you don't find a match. So here we have an example of a shoplifter video, and as you can see, there are no matched faces because this person could be a first-time offender, maybe they're traveling from another part of the country. Whatever the reason is, they're not in the known offender database. And so we can look at the unknown faces and still label this person as, for example, Jane Doe shoplifter. And so by giving it this generic label and adding it to a separate people of interest database, this gives us a chance to catalog this face for the future. And so when you're processing evidence going forward, you can actually check it against your known offender database as well as your people of interest database, and hopefully have a greater chance of connecting the dots. Another key feature of Identify is the ability to match off of composite sketches. So oftentimes, those be on the lookout BOLO notices are sent out on social media or on the news to see if anyone has seen this person based off an eyewitness's description. So traditional facial recognition algorithms are not able to do this kind of sketch to mugshot comparison because they're relying on the distance between eyes and other key facial features. With Identify, the facial recognition algorithm being used is actually doing a pixel level comparison. And so that gives us the ability to actually do a sketch to mugshot comparison as you see here. And we've had a lot of success with agencies around that specific use case. So that covers our Veritone Identify application. As part of Identify, one of the processes that we enable an agency to do is to bulk import their data and then continue to sync that data on an ongoing basis. So by the data, we're referring to the booking photos or the known offender database, and along with the demographic data that comes with that. And so we're able to use our Automate Studio application to build a custom connector into that RMS system where those booking photos reside, and to be able to pull that in on a nightly basis. So for example, we can have data synced at nighttime based off of the most recent booking records so that the next morning the agency is ready to use that data within Identify. So this screen that you're seeing is an example of a custom workflow that we built to be able to take that data in, bulk import it, retrain the facial recognition engines on the system so that it's ready for use the next day. With Veritone Redact, you're able to take audio and video content and quickly remove personally identifiable information from it. And so to that point, Redact allows you to upload your media, which allows you to take any audio or video file, which by the way, we're manufacturer hardware agnostic, and to be able to bring it right into here. You'll see below there's two options we can run to help speed up the redaction process. The first one is head detection. So with head detection, we're going to go frame by frame throughout your video content, detecting every head throughout the video and drawing a redaction box around it automatically. As a user, you're simply going to supervise the results of that redaction by checking or unchecking whether or not you wish to redact that head. It's important to note that this is head detection and not face detection. So unlike traditional face detection, which relies on the key facial features being visible on screen, head detection is looking for a head on a torso. And so you'll see some examples later on where that makes a huge difference compared to traditional face detection. The second option is running transcription, which will allow us to transcribe the spoken conversation. The purpose of that transcript is going to be a visual means of redacting the underlying audio, and I'll show you guys how that works. Starting off with a video redaction example, here we see on the right-hand side of the player the list of the head detections that have been detected. If I click on this, it's actually a link. I can jump right to that key moment in the video, 27 seconds, and you can see the green detection box automatically highlighted. If I wish to redact that head, all I have to do is leave it checked. But if I wish to not redact the head, maybe it's the head of a police officer, I can uncheck it. And so as a user, I'm simply going to supervise by checking and unchecking. We also have the ability to create our own user-defined regions. So for anything outside of the automatic detections, we can create our own box to redact, just like so. And now let's say I wanted to redact this cashier's monitor. What I can do is select the option to actually track that forward in time or throughout the entire video. And so that will continue to track and blur that object throughout the entire video, even if it moves around on screen, as we see with dynamic body-worn camera footage. And we also have the ability to go through and, as a user, create our own tracking job by clicking this region and moving it around on screen with the mouse and following that object along as it moves in slow motion or advancing frame by frame. So where this is helpful compared to the automatic tracking we just described is in cases where you have really dynamic content where an object is moving in and out of the camera's view constantly. And so as a user, you can basically create your own tracking job by following it along. And so depending on your use case and the content, you can select the right tool. So we've included all these available options to help automate that redaction process and make it as painless as possible. We're going to take a look at an example of a video of more dynamic content, someone walking through the streets of New York City, and you're going to see how this head detection process works. So I'm going to pause the video and point out a few things. You'll notice that as the video plays back, it's automatically detecting the heads, popping up the green detection boxes. On the right-hand side, you'll notice it actually picked up the reflection of this person in the store glass window. So this is an example where head detection makes a huge difference compared to face detection because you can't see the facial features. They're too far away, they're too blurry. But because we're looking for a head on a torso, it's able to pick that up and automatically redact that personally identifiable data. Same thing over here, we see the back of this person to the camera. Again, facial features are not visible, but we're able to pick that up with head detection and automatically redact it. So we've covered video redaction. The next piece I want to look at is audio redaction. What we do for audio redaction is transcribe the spoken conversation, and we show that visually on the right-hand side. The purpose of this transcript is really to do a visual way of redacting the underlying audio of an audio file, or in this case, the video file. So I'm going to show you how this works. What I can do is scan through the conversation, and what I can also do is click on any word in the transcript, and it jumps right to the corresponding moment.
Penn State, University of Central Florida football game that happened in Ireland a few weeks ago.
So you notice as it plays back the transcript, it's highlighting each word karaoke style. The purpose of that is to indicate that every word is correlated to a specific timestamp in that video or an audio file. And so what I can do now is visually select the transcript, and anytime I see any personally identifiable information, let's say the sequence of numbers is this person's phone number, that's PII data I have to redact. All I have to do is highlight that sequence of numbers in the transcript and right-click and redact it. And what I've done is I've told the system to find that corresponding start and end time for those words I've selected and to go ahead and mute or tone over that audio. So it's really that simple. Using the same idea, I can also search for a word or phrase, and then I can right-click and redact that single instance or all four instances of it throughout the entire transcript. And again, I've muted or toned over that audio. So this approach to redacting the audio and video content is a huge time saver, as you can imagine, compared to the traditional approach. So we've heard reports that it typically takes a person 5 to 10 hours to redact a single hour video, so approximately 5 to 10 times the length of the file, whereas using this approach to redaction, we're able to get it down to under an hour, so closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. Once you're done going through the video and audio redaction and reviewing your results, you can then go into the Redacted Files tab and preview your output.
Stop date registration's expired. Can I see your driver's license, please?
So as you can see, it's following the head along, redacting it by blurring it automatically. We also have the ability to do a complete black fill, as well as adjust the darkness or lightness of that blur setting, depending on your preferences. You'll also notice that it muted over that corresponding audio. Depending on your preferences, we can also do a complete tone over if you want to make it explicit that you have redacted the audio and it's not just silence. Once you're satisfied with the results, you can then go into the section over here and click the download button. And what that's going to do is download the resulting file, which is either an audio or video file, depending on what you've uploaded. But it will also include a chain of custody audit log that will tell you everything that's happened to that redacted file from the moment it was brought into the system until the redaction was completed. So every date and time, every user that was logged in, and the details of each action that occurred will be captured so you have a complete history. So that covers our Redact application. Now, once you've seen Redact, a common question that gets asked is, what else can I do with that transcript? Well, Illuminate allows you to take that transcript and do a lot more with it than just redact the underlying audio. Illuminate allows you to take any spoken conversation and audio and video content and make that content searchable. So for example, I can search on the phrase killed him, and this is going to bring back 3 files out of my hundreds of files in my data set where that specific phrase is mentioned. In this case, I'm looking at an interview room recording sample where I have the player on the left side and a speaker separated transcript on the right. So now I can click on any word, jump right to that moment at the 40-second mark and start playing it back.
I killed him. When I hit him and knocked him out, and then I took the shoelaces out of his shoes, tied them together, wrapped it around his neck, and strangled him.
So just like in Redact, every word is highlighted karaoke style so you can see exactly where you are, making it really easy to search through all your content, quickly jump to key moments and review it. If your use case is to be able to edit the transcript to bring it to 100% accuracy, we've included editing tools where a human can take the machine transcription and edit it to 100% accuracy. So you have the ability to not only edit just the transcription results, but also the speaker separation results, where you can merge sections together or break them apart as needed, as well as bulk label each of the speakers. So these intuitive tools make it really easy to work with a transcript and export them out, depending on your use case.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you all so much for joining us today to learn more about Veritone's AI solutions built for government. We want to thank our partner Cognilytica and Karasoft for having us today to show you our AI demo. Now we're going to take some Q&A. If you want to learn more, please join us at veritone.com. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, that was a really great demo. And just like us, I'm sure that our viewers out there have a few questions about the product and the demo itself. So we'd like to spend the next 15 minutes or so going over some Q&A with the team from Veritone.
Yeah, so with us to dive deeper is Amy Nguyen, Director Alliance Partners and Inside Sales, and Ben Ha, Senior Sales Engineer at Veritone, to answer a few questions. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So we'd like to start by asking you, what gap in the market is this product filling?
Well, thanks, Kathleen, for the questions, of course, and for having us. Really what we're doing is we're cognitively enabling pre-existing workflows by essentially taking the work from being laborious and manual, think going frame by frame to catch every moment of PII and video and evidence, and allowing our AI technology to do 90% plus of the work by identifying these moments and then allowing our users who are able to use that time to do other things, to spend about 10% of the time to review and make any corrections before finalizing and releasing evidence. And that's just one example. So, it's really about productivity for our public and safety and justice groups. I think we can all agree that now more than ever, our police forces are needed on the front lines instead of spending countless hours doing manual work that can be taken care of by technology. We've heard from customers that they're experiencing huge time and cost savings using this product, allowing their administrative teams, including records, investigations, legal, to focus on bigger issues at play, and affording the management teams the ability to reassign mundane, repetitive work to process automation via the products that Veritone delivers.
Well, great. Well, I know that, a lot of the reason why people are watching these videos is that, and looking at the AI demos, is that they're really interested in the promise of what AI can do. And we talk about AI across all these different patterns. And in particular, we know that there's a lot of what the Veritone product can do that's enabled by AI. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how has AI made the product possible, and what are some of the AI enabled features of the Veritone solution?
Great. So I'm happy to answer that question. AI is really at the center of each of these products we demonstrated today. With our For example, with our Identify application, we're using facial recognition to be able to identify the suspect within the video or photographic evidence. And so facial recognition is obviously the hub point there. And with our Redact application, we're using a combination of head detection and transcription to be able to really speed up and automate that redaction process. And Illuminate, as you saw as well, will use transcription to be able to quickly search and highlight key moments across interview room recordings, jailhouse calls, and any other audio or video content containing spoken conversation. So AI is really the central point of each of those applications. And to Amy's point earlier, we're using AI as a means to really unlock content and make it accessible and enable existing workflows as well as create new ones.
That's great. Now I know sometimes at organizations, the people that buy the products aren't always the people that consume it. So who do you see as the primary customer in the organization for your product? And then who is the primary user for the product?
Sure, and I'll take that one. So, it does vary by product, but we see wide usage across police and federal agencies, from a police officer to a records supervisor to someone in the legal division, as well as investigations. So, as you saw in the demo, these applications are very user friendly, and that's why we've had such great engagement and feedback from our customer base. Ultimately, it depends on the process and the department, but overall, we see records teams are really leaning into redaction software. Legal admin teams, they're loving functionality of Illuminate for transcription and text analytics to understand topics within cases containing large amounts of media. And lastly, investigative and crime analyst teams, they're really championing the Identify product for suspect identification to close cases more quickly. But it's interesting, even a lot of times these decisions get made at the very high level of the chief, and they're even using the products. They're interested in it because anybody can use it in the organization. So we see excitement across all groups, users, as well as financial decision makers.
Yeah. Well, that's great because that's the thing about AI is it's just enabling technology, and we're seeing a very broad set of users across all the different user types. So let's moving on a little bit and thinking about the landscape, the world in which the Veritone product exists, because the AI landscape is pretty robust. At Cognilytica, we track 6,000 companies in the AI space. So how would you classify your product into the landscape, and kind of where do you see the technology fitting into the universe of all the AI solutions that are out there?
So Veritone is positioned uniquely in the sense that we really don't focus on individual point solutions, but really AI as a platform. And so with the three applications you saw today, we're taking key areas or use cases that are in the need of public safety and justice, and to be able to cognitively enable those using AI. And so the power of aiWARE is being able to have that platform as a higher level than just a point solution, where you can start with something like redaction, but then you can easily expand into other use cases and other areas of the agency where they really need to be able to use AI to help optimize an existing workflow or maybe even create a new one.
So I know that you presented on a few different things, but do you see any new features or offerings that are planned for the coming months that you can share with our listeners and viewers?
We do. So with our Redact application, we're actually in our next release, which is probably just a few weeks away from now, is we're going to add additional types of automatic detection capabilities. So in the demo, you saw the ability to detect heads and run transcription. What we're also going to be able to add is license plate detection, as well as laptop or MDT detection in a patrol vehicle. And so those will show up as two additional checkboxes that can be automatically detected during your video redaction process and then supervised as a user.
Okay. Well, that's definitely some great functions and features and functionality for the product. So tell us a little bit about sort of the pricing model, the business model, and maybe availability of the product and how customers can get a hold of this technology if they're interested in using it.
Sure, I'll take that one, Ron. So, each of these applications has a different model as it serves a different function, but all of the products are seen in the demo are readily available. They don't require any additional services for implementation. And most agencies that we work with, they are shocked at how quickly we can get them up and running. as well as the support layer that we provide for any type of request. So, it's an annual license, which I think most people who are watching can understand. But, if you want to learn more, shoot us an email at info@veritone.com or contact your Caresoft rep, and we'd love to hear from you and learn what we can do to help.
Yeah, that sounds great. Maybe any sort of further some things maybe we didn't discuss in the Q&A part or the demo part. Anything maybe you feel like you'd like to add about the technology, maybe the universe that you're existing in, maybe any additional insights for our viewers?
Sure. I think one of the things that I talk to a lot of customers, is that they love the flexibility and the security that Veritone provides. So, beyond just the usability to, get rid of some of these mundane tasks and be able to work on other more important issues, they also feel very safe having their data hosted with us. We work with Azure as well as AWS GovCloud, so we have security as a very high priority. We're also FedRAMP certified. So I think that's something that, when you're talking about government, that's extremely important, and we take that very seriously. So I think, along with our constant ability to keep developing new innovative things that are going to help keep these agencies moving forward and focusing on, the tasks that are really, really important. I think that's really our main priority here, is how do we cognitively enable existing workflows so that agencies, federal, state, and local education, they can go and they can spend their time really making a difference, and I think that's why most people join and do that type of work anyways. They don't want to be sitting there going frame by frame, redacting PII, or sifting through, bolos and watching countless hours of footage to try to identify suspects. If they can be assisted in order to do their job more efficiently, I think everyone wants to lean into that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. So this is a great place to end our Q&A with you. So thank you so much for joining us for this Q&A portion of the AI Demo Showcase. And if viewers have any additional questions or want to get more information about the product, we encourage them to reach out to you directly, and maybe you can just share how they can get in contact with you one more time.
Absolutely. Go ahead and check out our website, veritone.com, and you can get a demo right there, or you can email us directly, info@veritone.com. As well, reach out to your Caresoft rep. They know everything about us and can, speak on our behalf as well. So we're really excited to get this product into as many agencies as possible, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.